Once again, the level of bitch-assness is very, very high. We welcome in Stephen Miller, another piece of shit. This idiot had the nerve to call these people that were at the festivals there in D.C. He called them elderly hippies, one, elderly white hippies. Then he doubled back around and called them stupid white hippies. Then he had the nerve to say that the commander in creep, little tangerine tyrant, daddy dumpy pants, Putin's bottom bitch, is trying to protect black people. So in the midst of trying to erase black history and whitewash everything and water everything down and remove us from seats of power, you turn around and loop back around and say that that motherfucker is trying to protect us. Where? Where? How? How? Stephen Miller, you are officially the dumbest motherfucker I know. Yeah, you're a piece of shit. Fuck all the way off and have the shittiest day ever. Go fast.
Hi guys, my name is Olivia and welcome back again to my channel. Let's talk about Stephen Miller. He has always been the dark architect of Trump's most racist and hurtful policies, from family separation at the border to the museum ban. Now, report says he's telling Trump to ramp up anti-black racism in Washington, D.C. You all know what's happening in Washington, D.C. This isn't just politics, this is targeted hate. Miller knows exactly what he's doing, weaponizing fear and division to keep Trump's base fired up. And the fact that Trump still leans on him shows us that racism isn't just a side effect of their agenda, it is the agenda. At the end of the day, this is a proof that Trumpism has always been out preserving white supremacy and pushing back progress for Black Americans. If this video interests you, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop your thoughts in the comment section.
So, Vice President J.D. Vance, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and also a White House aide, Stephen Miller, all went to Union Station in Washington, D.C. today to double down on President Trump's military and police takeover of D.C.'s law enforcement. But here's the thing that I thought was super interesting about this. How often do you see White House advisors, senior White House aides, really even at the highest level, doing high profile trips like this, basically putting himself on par, on the same level as the Vice President of the United States and also a cabinet secretary? Well, that's exactly what Stephen Miller did today, and I thought it was extremely telling, and let me tell you why. Stephen Miller is the intellectual architect of almost everything that comes out of Donald Trump's White House. He is the person who spearheads the immigration crackdown, the mass deportation policy, the execution of it. And he is also the person who ensures that the cabinet secretaries are doing what he wants them to do. He is not your average White House advisor. He's not even the chief of staff, but he is perhaps the most powerful person in Donald Trump's orbit. They have been able to carry out that mass deportation policy. They have effectively militarized American cities like Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., and they are using ICE and Border Patrol agents as a police force for the Trump agenda. But we'll be talking about all of this, plus the boos and jeers that they got from Washington residents when they were in the city today, plus a brand new Washington Post poll that shows that pretty much everyone in Washington doesn't want this new Trump policy. A lot to discuss, 10 p.m. on CNN Newsnight.
You ever wonder what happens when a high school troll grows up and gets access to federal power? You get Stephen Miller. And this man didn't just whisper in Trump's ear, he wrote the whole damn playbook. Stephen Miller isn't just some advisor. He's the author behind Trump's most cruel, racist, and authoritarian politics. And he did it quietly, in a suit, all while pretending that it was about national security. You remember the Muslim ban? That was Miller. Family separation at the border? That was Miller. Trying to strip citizenship from immigrants legally living here? Yep, Miller. He's the reason zero tolerance became a government slogan. The man crafted policy like it was fan fiction for fascists. And you want to talk about connections? Stephen Miller was mentored by Richard Spencer, the actual white nationalist who coined the term alt-right. They went to Duke together, and Miller invited him to campus. Let that sink in. The dude writing U.S. immigration policy was once boosted by a literal neo-Nazi. And don't think he disappeared when Trump left the first time. He started a legal group called America First Legal, designed to sue the government every single time it tried to be decent. Trying to stop DEI programs? That's Miller. Attacking asylum protections? That's Miller. Lawsuits to block civil rights policies under the radar? Also Miller. And the scariest part is that he's not a loudmouth. He's a strategist. He's not tweeting insults. He's writing executive orders. He learned that power isn't about being liked. It's about embedding your ideology so deep within the system that even after you're gone, your fingerprints stay on the walls. Stephen Miller doesn't just advise Trump. He built a machine, one fueled by fear, whiteness, and legal loopholes. And it's still running. It's just a little quieter now. So we all know the bigotry has definitely resurfaced. We can see that in the court dockets, the school bans, and the borders. Stephen Miller never left. He just sharpened his horns and put on a nicer tie.
All right, I got more dirt on this Stephen Miller creep. Haven't seen anyone else talk about this, and I think Angelinos are going to find it very interesting. He's the White House Deputy Chief of Staff and the architect behind these wicked ICE raids. Here's what I found out on Wikipedia. He was the vice president of a company owned by his family. They own a bunch of real estate, and I went looking at where that real estate's located. They own residential properties in Latino neighborhoods in LA County, under the name California Villages. They own properties in Pico Rivera and West Covina. 2,500 residential units throughout Los Angeles County. Now, the reason I say dirt is because this man has designed a very xenophobic, racist program, and yet he was renting out to Latinos in LA, and this program has its fiercest operation in LA. Go check out some of the Google reviews yourself. Look at this one about roach infestation. California Villages. You're telling me this guy is a slumlord from LA? I can't believe it.
Now, I want to talk to y'all a little bit more about DC because I've been on a rampage for the last 2 days and I'm still on that. So there was a protest yesterday, and the protest consisted of Caucasian people, and JD Vance is mad about it. He was like, y'all never seen danger in y'all life. Why are y'all out here protesting? They protested because what y'all doing is wrong. What y'all are doing is wrong. I have so many DC supporters who've been in my comments and in my DMs like, yo, we feel less safe with the military here. They feel unsafe. But y'all trying to say the crime rates is going down because the militaries were there. No, the crime rates had already went down before he put the military in place. And now he's trying to take... Y'all, he always do this. Now that I just thought about it, it just hit me. He's literally trying to say that him sending the military out there is what reduced the crime rate, when the crime rate was already reduced before the military got there. So once again, he's taking credit for some shit he didn't even do. It's a word for people who do that. It's a name for it. I know it gotta be.
JD Vance, Pete Hegseth, and Stephen Miller walk into a train station. No, this isn't the start of some joke. It actually happened today at Washington, D.C.'s Union Station, and the three men went to ostensibly visit the National Guard troops that were there to protect the train station, which I've been to the train station. It's beautiful, and it's not full of crime. But they went to buy burgers from Shake Shack and give them out to the troops. And while they were there, well, protesters were there too, and they had already been there. And they saw these three, and they got louder, to the point that the media could not even hear J.D. Vance attempting to spin whatever the administration's spinning about Washington, D.C. What they could hear was something saying, you hear these people screaming, free D.C., let's free it from lawlessness, let's free it from high crime, and let's make it so families can walk down the street. All things that aren't true and that currently happen. But the protesters are the real heroes here, because they were screaming so loud, nobody actually heard J.D. Vance. He actually ran headlong once again into people protesting him so badly that he cut his visit short, didn't buy all the burgers that he promised that he'd buy, and he left early. So J.D. Vance is just leaving places consistently now because of protesters. I appreciate all of you that are out there screaming at JD Vance every time you see him. Maybe tomorrow I'll get a chance to do that in Georgia.
Welcome back to Green Cards for Me, but not for thee. Stephen Miller edition. If you watched part 1, then you already know Stephen Miller wouldn't even exist if the US had enforced the same immigration laws that he pushes today. But here in part 2, we're going even deeper because Miller didn't become a white nationalist overnight. His story has roots, and his began in high school. While at Santa Monica High, he once gave a campaign speech and told Latino classmates, "If you want to be here, you should speak English." He was booed off of stage. His classmates say that he thrived on being intentionally offensive. Even then, he was obsessed with race, immigration, American values. Sound familiar? Fast forward to 2019, where Stephen Miller served as the senior policy advisor to President Trump. That's when the Southern Poverty Law Center leaked nearly 1,000 emails that Miller had sent Breitbart. Breitbart News, then run by Steve Bannon, was basically a propaganda machine of the white nationalist wing of the GOP. More than 80% of all of the emails sent were about race or immigration. He promoted white nationalist websites like V-Day and American Renaissance. He pushed The Camp of the Saints, a racist French novel that white supremacists obsess over. He praised the 1924 Immigration Act, a law designed to keep America white, literally cited in the German guy's Mein Kampf. He fearmongered about white culture, cited crime stats to stoke anti-black fear. This wasn't ever about national security. It was a white nationalist blueprint that he followed to the T. And you would have thought that pushing all of this racist propaganda would have ended his career. But nope, it got him a promotion. Because now in the Trump administration, he serves as the Deputy Chief of Staff of Policy, the Homeland Security Advisor. He's leading everything cruel that we're seeing. The mass deportations, the military-led detention centers. Stephen Miller didn't just believe in white nationalist ideas. He curated them, he shared them, he wrote them into American law. This isn't about law and order and coming the right way. It's about legacy. It's about whiteness. And it's about one man's lifelong obsession with punishing the people he was raised to hate.
All of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. We're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address one other thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been.